From the News Channel 5 Network, this is MorningLine.
Good morning, everyone. Thanks for joining us on MorningLine. Nick Barris here. It is Monday. Look, just stay in, join the show, pick up the phone, call. You don't want to go outside. It's freezing, all right? Just don't do it. I mean, leave it to us to head out this morning and come in. And, you know, I walked out this morning and it hit me in the face. It was like dark side of the moon cold. Okay, I think kind of. And now I'm here. I'm thawed out. And now, you know, even if I wasn't, I have been warmed by the warm smile of our guest this morning as he came in. And it's always good to be joined by Davidson County Sheriff Darren Hall. Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir.
I don't know.
What do you say to that?
I don't have anything to say.
Well,
Dark side of the moon.
It was cold.
It was cold.
But, you know, I'm not going to complain. And I know the sheriff, just like me, big fan of the Titans.
Yes.
And what are we complaining about after what they played in yesterday, right?
Right.
Did you watch it?
Yes, I watched it.
It was exciting.
I mean, I was almost cold watching it. It felt so cold. I mean, when the steam, the first shot they had, and the steam was coming out of that heated, which was
Don't they say,
cool.
What is that? They said that there's technology under the field?
Yeah, I looked into that. They, about 9 inches under the ground have these pipes that are running, and
Warm water
the actual ground is 60 degrees.
Yeah.
Now think about that. That's pretty neat, but still, I mean, your limbs can't be.
You're right.
Oh
It was steaming. But, you know, that makes sense, because if you don't do that, that's frozen like concrete, and it's going to hurt the players when they get tackled. And now you played football. I mean, I played intramural stuff, but I mean, I'm trying to imagine kicking a football in that temperature. It must be like kicking a brick, even though it's much lighter. Just an amazing. I think it's one of the greatest kicks I've ever seen in the NFL.
Me too.
Under that kind of pressure, what it meant, but the distance and the cold, it boggles my mind that he made that.
I'll tell you what, the other kick I always thought was the biggest beat us. We were beat the Titans. We were playing in New England, and Vinatieri was there, and there was some theory that, believe it or not, there was way back then there was theory that they had pumped the ball up before they went out to kick it, and he kicks a 49-yard. But this kick was much better. I mean, you really realize. Even he said it wasn't within his range. Even he said he has no idea how he did it. And
adrenaline, emotion, just the weather. The wind was supposedly swirling. I mean,
and then to think he missed the first one, and you know the coach is kicking himself today because
sometimes that works, sometimes it doesn't. But I usually think, you know, I mean, I've seen it before where the coach calls a timeout and the kick goes through, and you're like, whew, okay, and the second time they miss. So I don't really blame him for doing that. It didn't work out, but
and, you know, they
50,
tell the kicker, go and kick it.
Yeah, to kick it anyway, even when he calls it.
Kick it to get yourself ready. So it helped.
He knew he had to give it more leg.
Yeah, without that kick, you may. What a great day, though. Just I mean, on your couch to sit and watch it. I can't imagine.
Yeah.
And their stands were empty in a lot of places.
I said the same thing. You thought it was a big. Here's my question to you. All right, and you're a fan. I think you have tickets, right?
Yeah.
If it's that frigid for a game here, and I'm on record, heck, half the time when we were getting beat or it's blown out, I leave at halftime. I'm not one of these people, I bought the ticket, I'm staying till the end if it's just miserable. I don't think I could sit through 1 degree temperature. Maybe playoff game with the chance to go to the Super Bowl. Yeah, I'd be there. Regular season, half that stadium was empty, I thought. And this is the Chiefs, who are one of the best teams in the league.
Yeah, if it were that exact situation, it would be hard. My mother, who is a loyal fan, I bet she hasn't missed 3 or 4 games total ever since they've been here, and she gives me a lot of grief when I chicken out and go. But if it's meaningful, I mean, I remember one of the coldest nights I remember was the night they flew home from Jacksonville. We went down there and brought the trophy back.
That's right.
We all went down there, and I remember it was so cold that night. But for a purpose, it feels a little better.
That was fun. I remember that. I was there for that as well, and how cold it was, the bus coming from the airport. It's crazy. I mean, if we win the next 2, I'm sorry, this is the sheriff. He's not a sports guy. I mean, he's a sports fan. But look, it was just you We're Titans fans, and if they win their next 2 games, they host a playoff game. It's that simple. Now watch, we'll go down to Jacksonville and lose.
That's what I was saying. You know, they fired the coach yesterday, and I thought now they'll play one for the gift.
They'll play well with this new guy, so we'll see. Anyway, I thought we'd touch base. Anyway, go Titans.
That's great.
Listen, we actually have a shot. Let's take a look outside at what was or what remains of the jail. A great shot there, Mary Elena.
Wow,
that's from Skycam, and
that is amazing.
There it is. You know, the whole periphery. It's like I almost have forgotten what it looked like, but for those of you who don't know, of course, that is the Davidson County Jail, what was the jail. the part that's left is just the main construct, right?
Right, and our office is right behind there, so I go by there almost every morning. But yeah, there's really a metal steel cage, or what you would call cells, that are all inside there, and they're blue, kind of a blue color. And I watch them go up there, and they actually crunch that up, and up on the very top floor, believe it or not, there's like a mini bulldozer type thing, and they're pushing it off. They would crunch it up, push it off, and it's all falling. And then you've got this crane on each side.
Yeah, you see it tearing it down. I was walking by there and just got a kick out of stopping, and you saw this, like, I guess maybe, what did you say, a bulldozer up top there? Yeah. And he was near the edge, and I was thinking, gosh, I hope that's sturdy, and they know what they're doing. But they were pushing stuff off the edge, and you were watching it fall all these stories down, and just this, it was cool to watch the demolition.
It has been a fascinating thing.
And it's gone fast, in my opinion. The outside was nothing. Now this is the hardest part, because it's fortified, right?
It's very, very, that's, and you'd want it to be obviously you know, secure when you're operating it, but to bring it down, I was even asking people the other day, these folks have done a really good job. This company that was awarded the contract, I'd never heard of them, but the thing that's interesting is I wonder how many of these types of buildings have they ever done. I mean, concrete is one thing, bricks is one thing, but you're talking about basically a steel cage in a lot of ways, and it's just amazing to watch. And again, they're on schedule. They tell us this will be finished by the end of December, this part, which is just a few more weeks, and then they get it leveled off, and they've got to dig into the ground a lot, and then build back on that same property. So it's
awesome, man.
Yeah, and 12 months ago now, I mean, if you remember, we had just gone through the conversation of not having to do any of this. We were going to build out on the Harding side, and so to think what all has happened in the last 12 months, and now to bring this building down and take the whole city block, really. Well,
you said that the easy part is coming down. This is all, and you can leave that up for a minute. It's just kind of neat to watch. But I mean, it's going to come down, obviously, a lot faster in a matter of months. The rebuild's going to take, what, a couple years, right?
Yeah, a couple of years, right on that same block, and a much better facility, obviously, and more practical for the use today. But it's just it's fascinating we're in meetings 2 hours a week, really planning and working with architects on the new facility, and to think about the work going into the cells and what we're trying to do in the new one, and think here they are tearing one down that's over 30 years old. And I tell you, I've had so many people around town stop and say, man, I was driving down and I just stopped and got captivated by watching. It's almost like
it is. We need to go over there. Rick was just telling me we went Facebook Live on that closer in at one point, and a bunch of people were tuning in, just because it is. It's kind of neat to watch. It's not a sudden demolition where you've got charges and it's falling like you sometimes see. This is piece by piece. I guess, did they say the reason they have to do this as opposed to maybe now that they've cleared it, why not set some charges? Is it just that it's so reinforced it's just not going to work?
It's not going to work, yeah.
Yeah, that's because it's a jail. This is not a typical building.
That's right. If you notice, the front of this building, from where we're looking, the front was the old police headquarters. It's completely gone. And then the back of the building was all the parking garage and the property room. Those are just traditional buildings, and that's why they literally were pretty simple to come down. But that square, that's 5 stories of really steel. It's got concrete around the outside, and the floors are concrete. But you can watch them from the other side, as we've watched. And what's happening is they'll go in and get all that steel and then push it. It's the top floor they're doing, push it off the back side. And then what they'll do is they'll crunch that concrete and drop down the floor, crunch up the metal, and move it off. So it's just like breaking up a whole bunch of metal.
Well, how many floors was it?
It was 5 floors of housing, and then had the gym. If you remember, the very top of this building's already gone. It was a 2-story open-air gym, outdoor recreation area, and that was easy to bring down. But you're into the hard stuff now. That's a pretty secure part of the building, and these guys are doing great work. I'm amazed at the work that they're doing.
It's going so fast. I'm just curious, we'll wrap up talking about that unless someone has a question, but have you had any of the contractors come and say, hey, we were taking out this wall and we found this, or we found, I just wonder, has there been anything discovered in the demolition that you found interesting or of note, or has it pretty much just come down and no odd discoveries or weird things?
Yeah, we haven't heard much. A lot of stories about some animals that may have left the scene when it started, and some other things going on, but it's, you know, we spent about a month or so in that building once we moved everyone out, and we did a lot of, and really were able to get some things out that
I didn't know if they found hidden weapons or something, like someone hit a shank in the wall, or there was probably some of that, and you may not have even seen it as it came down. Yeah,
that's true. It has a lot of history in that building, and you know a lot about it too. I was somewhere around town the other day, and someone said, that they remember when the Foot Stomper, which was a big story around town, was in the building. So many different
think of
characters.
all the people who have been through there over the years. Well, listen, we'll take a break on that, and when we come back, we can talk more about the jail. We've got the lines open. We already have some calls in for you. Talk to the sheriff more about what's happening there at the jail. If you have any questions about law enforcement, especially during the holidays, what's going on. Sober Ride, I assume, is coming up again during the holiday season. We'll get into that with him as well. So join in the conversation. You see the number on the screen? Back with Davidson County Sheriff Darren Hall and your phone calls right after this.